It's 2 a.m. You're 7 years old. Someone's shaking you awake in freezing darkness. Time for prayers. You just went to bed 3 hours ago. You're exhausted. Your brain hasn't finished developing. You don't even know your times tables yet. Get up. It's Matins. You stumble to the chapel. It's colder than the bedroom somehow. Medieval architecture was built different, specifically built to make you suffer. You're going to do this until you die. Every night, 2 a.m. wake-up call for the next 50 to 60 years. Welcome to being a medieval nun. Your family dropped you off here last week. You asked when they're coming back. They laughed. Not a funny laugh. A oh sweetie no laugh. You're not leaving, ever. This is your life now, and medieval convents made prison look like a vacation resort with better food and more freedom. Let's talk about how you got here, because you didn't wake up at 7 thinking, you know what sounds amazing, lifetime celibacy, and a 2 a.m. prayer schedule. Your dad made this decision, probably over breakfast, without asking you. Because you're 7 and also you're a girl in the 1300s, so your opinion is worth approximately nothing. Maybe your family couldn't afford a dowry. Husbands were expensive. The convent also wanted cash, but less cash. You were the Costco brand option, the budget choice. Or maybe you were daughter number 4. Your parents already married off 2 daughters, kept one at home. You, surplus inventory, the medieval equivalent of, we can't afford another mouth to feed, so we're donating you to God. Or maybe you had a limp, a birthmark, anything that made you unmarriageable by medieval standards, which were pickier than Tinder. The convent took everyone, though. They just wanted the donation money. Or your family needed religious PR. Giving a daughter to the church made you look extremely pious. Look how holy we are. Very impressive at medieval dinner parties. Meanwhile, you're 7 and nobody will explain when you get to go home. Spoiler, never. You've been here a week. You're wearing a novice habit 3 sizes too big. You look like a small ghost attempting cosplay. They cut your hair yesterday. Short. You cried. The older nun said vanity is a sin. You're 7. You just liked your hair. You didn't realize liking things was illegal here. The schedule is absolutely unhinged. 2 a.m. Matins. Pray for an hour while your body screams for sleep. 3 a.m. Back to bed. 3 whole hours. This is the longest stretch you get. 6 a.m. Lauds. Morning prayer. Your knees hurt from kneeling on stone floors designed by someone who hated knees. 7 a.m. Prime. More prayer. You're realizing this is just your life now. Prayer. Forever. 8 a.m. Breakfast. Finally. Except it's bread, just bread, and water. Maybe watered down beer if the convent is fancy. You eat in complete silence. Talking is forbidden. Someone reads Bible passages while you chew and contemplate the life choices you didn't make. It's the world's most depressing ASMR. 9 a.m. Work time. Manual labor. You're 7. You should be playing. Instead, you're farming, or doing laundry in ice-cold water, or scrubbing floors, or copying manuscripts if you're educated, which you're not because you're 7 and just got here. 12 p.m. Midday prayer. Your knees are developing bruises. The bruises are getting bruises. 1 p.m. Lunch. What's for lunch? Bread. Maybe vegetables if the garden is doing well. Still silence. Still Bible verses. You're so tired of bread, you'll be tired of bread for 53 years. 2 p.m. More work. Your hands are raw, your back hurts, you're a child doing adult labor, and everyone acts like this is normal. 3 p.m. Afternoon prayer. You're starting to have beef with specific stones in the floor. 5 p.m. Vespers. Evening prayer. You can't remember which service this is anymore. 6 p.m. Dinner. Guess what's for dinner? If you said bread, congratulations, you understand medieval convent cuisine. 7 p.m. Compline. Night prayer, the last service. You're so tired you might be dead. 8 p.m. Bed. You've been awake since 2 a.m. with a 3-hour break. You fall asleep instantly. 2 a.m. Someone's shaking you awake. Start over. Every single day. Forever. It's Groundhog Day, except Bill Murray had it way better. Eventually, you'll take 3 vows that basically sign away your existence. Poverty. You own nothing. Not your clothes, not your bed, not your spoon. Everything belongs to the convent. You will never own anything. Not even a pet rock. Especially not a pet rock. Rocks are communal here. Chastity. No dating, no romance, no marriage, no sex, ever. You're married to Christ now, which sounds poetic until you realize it means dying alone at 60, having never held hands with anyone who wasn't also wearing a habit. You're committing to lifelong celibacy before your brain finishes developing. Obedience, you do what you're told, always, forever. The abbess says, scrub that floor. You scrub it. You're an adult woman taking orders like you're in boot camp, except the military lets you leave eventually. These vows are permanent. Lifetime contract, no buyout clause. Breaking vows means excommunication. You'd be cast out with no skills, no family support, and everyone pretending you don't exist. So you stay, because leaving isn't actually an option. Medieval convents ran on donations. Rich people gave money. In exchange, nuns prayed for their souls. Subscription service for salvation. The wealthier the convent, the better the food. Wealthy convent? You might get fish on Fridays, cheese sometimes, eggs on holidays. Your bread might be wheat instead of rye. You're living like a medieval queen by peasant standards, which are very low standards. Poor convent? Bread, water, garden vegetables in season. That's the whole menu. Meat is forbidden anyway. You're accidentally vegetarian and your diet is so questionable you probably have scurvy. You're hungry constantly. You go to bed hungry, you wake up hungry. Fasting brings you closer to God, the abbess says. You just want an apple. You'd commit minor sins for an apple. Here's something nobody warns you about. Convent politics are vicious. You'd think a building full of religious women would be peaceful. You'd be so wrong. The abbess is basically a medieval CEO. She has absolute power, controls all money, decides all jobs, picks favorites, holds grudges. If she likes you, life is easier. Better jobs, library work instead of cleaning chamber pots, slightly more food, closer to the fire in winter. If she doesn't, you're scrubbing floors for 40 years, doing laundry in freezing water, getting the worst tasks and everyone knows it. And the other nuns? Cliques, drama, gossip, all the social dynamics of high school except you can't talk openly because silence hours. So it's all passive-aggressive gestures and meaningful looks and extremely pointed prayers. Sister Margaret took your chapel spot? Warfare. Sister Catherine got the garden job while you're stuck in the kitchen? Clear favoritism. Someone's getting extra bread? The abbess has preferences and you're not on the list. You can't complain. Complaining is pride. Pride is a sin, so you smile, pray, pretend everything's fine while internally seething about Sister Margaret. Breaking rules has consequences, and you will break rules. The rules are impossible. Minor stuff, talking during silence, sleeping through prayer, laughing too loud, gets you penances. Extra prayers, more fasting, which is hilarious because you're already starving. Public confession where everyone judges you quietly. Major stuff, sneaking out, refusing orders, contraband food, gets you solitary confinement. They lock you in a cell. No light, no people, just you and regret. For days, sometimes weeks. Medieval time out, except it's traumatic. Serious violations, romantic relationships, trying to escape, could get you excommunicated. Kicked out? Socially destroyed, your family wouldn't take you back, you'd probably die alone and poor. So you follow the rules. Mostly, you find small rebellions, sneaking bread, taking longer walks, tiny ways to feel human. Plot twist, some medieval nuns actually thrived here. Not most hated every second. But some found it. Some genuinely loved the religious life. Some discovered they were brilliant at manuscript copying or music or herbalism. Some became scholars. Convents had libraries. Educated nuns learned Latin, studied theology, wrote books. Some became powerful. Abbacies controlled massive wealth and land. They negotiated with bishops and nobles as equals. They ran hospitals and schools. Medieval abbacies were some of the only women with real authority. Some found family, deep friendships, women who understood each other, safety from abusive marriages or deadly childbirth. But these were exceptions. Most nuns were there because they had no choice. You're 60 now. You've been here 53 years. Your knees are destroyed. Your hands are gnarled. Your back aches constantly. You've prayed the same prayers thousands of times, eaten bread for thousands of meals, followed the same schedule for half a century. Never married, never had kids, never traveled beyond these walls, never owned anything, never made a major choice about your own life. You're dying in the infirmary. The nuns are praying. The abbess gives last rites. Your last thought is probably what your life would have been if your dad hadn't signed those papers. But you'll never know. And speaking of lives decided by people who weren't you, check out my video on why most medieval soldiers fought nearly naked. Those guys also didn't choose their situation and somehow had it worse. At least you had clothes and weren't getting stabbed daily. They had neither advantage and their life expectancy made your convent look like a luxury retirement home. Links right there.